There's a sentence that echoes through the hearts of the emotionally deep. You're too much, too sensitive, too intense, too emotional. And after hearing it enough times, you start to believe it. But what if your intensity isn't a flaw? What if it's clarity? Stay with me. Because this world doesn't know what to do with people who feel deeply. It teaches you to shrink, to be pleasant, to stay quiet, to dilute your presence so no one feels uncomfortable in your truth. So you learn to wear masks. You become agreeable, controlled, softened. Not because it's who you are, but because it's what keeps you included. But at what cost? There's a silent grief in not being met. A sorrow in always having to translate your depth into something more palatable. Maybe you've felt it. That ache after opening up and realizing the other person wasn't really listening. That numbness that follows when your vulnerability is met with discomfort. That quiet sadness when you share your truth, only to be told to calm down. So you start to withhold, not out of bitterness, but as a quiet form of protection. Jung called this the rejection of the shadow, the parts of you that don't fit the collective mold. But here's the truth. You were never too much. You were simply surrounded by those who couldn't hold depth. Let that sink in. Your emotional richness is not a liability. It's a gift. A form of perception that sees below the surface. A sensitivity that senses what others ignore. And yes, it can hurt. Because when you feel deeply, you suffer deeply. You overthink, overworry, overcare. But in that very too muchness lies your wisdom. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." And for many of us, the unconscious story we carry is this. If I'm just a little less intense, I'll be loved. But that's not love. That's performance. And every time you perform, a part of you disappears. What if, instead, you embraced your intensity as sacred? What if your tears weren't weakness, but water for a soul that refuses to go numb? What if the world needs your depth, not your disguise? Here's something they don't tell you. Your sensitivity is not here to be managed. It's here to be honored. You were not made to thrive in shallow soil. You were born for the depths, for the dark, fertile places where truth takes root. And yes, this journey is lonely. Because when you choose truth over acceptance, many will walk away. And sometimes, it won't be the loud departures that hurt the most. It'll be the quiet distancing. The people who slowly drift when they no longer feel you catering to their comfort. But the ones who stay, the ones who see you, will meet a version of you that isn't filtered. Not convenient, not diluted, but real. You'll start to notice you're less drained, less resentful, because you're no longer molding yourself into someone else's comfort zone. And this doesn't mean becoming hard or cynical. It means becoming whole. The process is quiet. It doesn't announce itself. You won't wake up one day and suddenly feel fully seen. But little by little, your energy returns to you. The energy you spent explaining, apologizing, adjusting, you'll reclaim it. With every boundary, every pause, every moment you say, "I'm not too much. I'm just no longer hiding." And here's the most powerful truth. The depth you carry is not just for pain. It's for beauty. You notice things others miss. You love with your entire being. You find meaning where others see routine. This is not a flaw. It's your essence. But it must be protected, because the world will keep asking you to simplify, to sanitize, to explain. Don't. Let your presence be a mirror. Let your silence speak when words are not enough. And let your truth be too much for those still hiding from their own. Because in the end, you are not too much. You are a reminder of what most have forgotten, that to feel deeply is not a curse. It's a kind of awakening. So let them misunderstand you. Let them call you intense. Because one day someone will look at you and say, "Thank you for not dimming your light. It showed me my own." And until that day comes, stay close to yourself. You're not broken. You're just alive in a world that numbed itself. You're a symphony in a culture of static. A river in a world that fears drowning. You don't need to be less. You need to be with yourself, with your truth, with those who feel as much as you do. So if they say you're too much, smile gently and say, maybe you've just been starving for something real. And if this felt true to you, stay close. You're not alone.